So, you want a new phone every year. The latest cameras, brighter screen, fresh battery, polished metal, and that moment when the box opens and everything feels faster, sharper, and more valuable. The simple calculation seems obvious. Pay a manageable monthly amount, trade in the old device, and always carry the newest technology. But the phone is not really being replaced once. Its cost is being restarted. Apple's current US upgrade program begins at $42.41 a month and allows an upgrade after 12 payments. That sounds like roughly $509 for a year of ownership. Yet at the end of that year, the phone usually goes back. A new 24-month agreement begins, and the payment clock returns to month one. The customer receives permanent access to newer hardware, but not necessarily permanent ownership of the money already spent. That does not make annual upgrading irrational. For a photographer, content creator, mobile developer, salesperson, or someone whose unreliable device costs working time, the newest phone can produce real, practical value. Strong trade-in prices, included protection, business deductions, or avoiding repair downtime can also narrow the gap. The contradiction is that the person buying the most phones may not be wasting the most money, and the person keeping one phone may not automatically be saving the most. The real question is not whether a new phone is worth its price. It is whether 12 months of improved performance, convenience, reliability, and resale value can outweigh depreciation, repeated financing, accessories, insurance, and the opportunity cost of keeping the upgrade cycle alive. Start with what the annual upgrader is actually buying. It is not simply a rectangle of glass and metal. It is a camera, navigation system, payment card, editing suite, authentication key, and portable office. Replacing it every year can therefore be more rational than replacing almost any other personal possession, because few objects perform so many daily tasks. The strongest case belongs to people whose income or reliability depends on the device. A real estate agent may film listings, answer leads, scan contracts, and navigate between appointments. A mobile developer needs current hardware to test software. For them, a faster processor, stronger battery, improved camera, or reliable connection is not merely a luxury. It can remove delays, prevent missed work, or improve what they sell. But before the phone creates value, the upgrade cycle demands an entry payment. Consider a current 256GB iPhone 17 Pro priced at $1,099 in the United States. Apple also offers it through its upgrade program from $57 a month, with Apple Care Plus with theft and loss included. After 12 payments, the customer may return the phone and begin a new plan. That means the first year requires about $684 in scheduled payments before sales tax, a case, a screen protector, or any accessories the buyer replaces. Those additions look small separately. Together, they create a cost chain. An 8% sales tax assumption adds about $88. A $50 case and $25 screen protector bring the first-year outflow to roughly $847. If the next model uses the same accessories, the second year may be cheaper. If the dimensions, charging system, or preferred case change, the accessory clock starts again. One purchase creates another, and the visible monthly payment stops describing the full decision. Now, compare that with buying the same phone outright and keeping it for 3 years. The $1,099 purchase price, the same estimated tax, and $75 of protection produce an initial cost of about $1,262. Spread across 36 months, that is about $35 per month before repairs or resale value. The annual upgrader in this simplified example is spending close to twice that monthly amount, but receives newer hardware, continuous protection, and less exposure to late-life battery decline. The difference is not automatically waste. It is the price of shortening the ownership cycle. Think of a phone's value as a block of ice. The largest part melts early, when a brand new model becomes last year's model. Later, the melting usually slows. Apple currently offers up to around $560 for an iPhone 16 Pro traded towards another purchase, although the exact amount depends on model and condition. against an original flagship price around the four-figure level. That illustrates why the first owner often absorbs the steepest dollar decline. Annual upgrading can still manage that decline efficiently when the buyer protects the device and exits while demand remains strong. A scratched camera lens, cracked glass, or damaged frame is not only cosmetic, it can reduce the value available for the next transaction. Insurance, a case, and careful handling therefore protect more than the phone. They protect the financing strategy built around returning or reselling it. Take Maya, a fictional composite based on a self-employed property content creator. She records short listing videos, edits them on her phone, and sends finished clips before leaving the property. Her old device still works, but its battery fades during afternoon shoots, low-light footage needs more correction, and exporting several videos can delay delivery. Maya chooses the $57 monthly upgrade plan. Using our planning assumptions, her first-year device-related outflow is about $847. That is the cost. The value must come from somewhere measurable. Suppose the improved battery and workflow save her 15 minutes on each of 12 monthly projects. That is 3 hours per month. If she uses only one of those recovered hours to accept or complete additional paid work worth $75, the phone produces $900 of extra annual revenue. After the estimated $847 outflow, the direct advantage is only $53. Not dramatic, but positive. If no extra work appears, the time saving remains useful, yet the purchase has not paid for itself in cash. This is the unit economics of an upgrade. Annual phone cost minus trade-in or return value already built into the plan, compared with additional income, avoided repairs, and time recovered. The camera specification is not the benefit. The benefit is what the user can do with it that was slower, riskier, or impossible before. Maya also receives a form of insurance against interruption. Apple's program includes accidental damage protection, theft and loss coverage, and express replacement service. Apple also states that covered battery service is available without an additional charge when capacity falls below 80%. For someone whose phone is a work tool, reducing the possibility of several unproductive days has economic value, even if no claim is ever filed. There are non-financial gains too. A dependable battery means less anxiety before a long appointment. Better low-light video may reduce embarrassment when showing work to a client. Current hardware can keep a professional's tools compatible with new software. These benefits should not be assigned imaginary dollar values, but they can strengthen reputation, confidence, and future earning capacity. For an ordinary consumer, the calculation is weaker but not meaningless. Someone may use the phone 5 hours a day for communication, maps, banking, photographs, and entertainment. Paying an additional $30 per month over a longer ownership strategy equals roughly 20 cents per hour of use. That can be reasonable for a person with stable income who genuinely notices the improvement and has already funded more important goals. It becomes harder to defend when the upgrade is financed by revolving debt, replaces a perfectly reliable device, or competes with an emergency fund. If you enjoy seeing how ordinary purchases become complete financial systems, subscribe to Life Cost Decoder. The price on the product page is only the first number. The outcome is controlled by what happens after the purchase. Maya's early result shows that buying a new phone every year can work. The device improves her workflow, the protection limits interruption, and one modest stream of additional work can cover the annual cost. But the entire success story rests on one variable that has nothing to do with camera resolution, processor speed, or even the monthly payment. It depends on whether the new phone creates enough value before its most expensive year of ownership ends. That hidden variable is utilization. How much of the new phone's advantage is actually converted into income, saved time, avoided disruption, or enjoyment the buyer genuinely values? Two people can carry the same device and receive completely different economic results. Maya uses the camera, battery, processor, and replacement coverage inside a paid workflow. Another buyer may use the same phone mainly for messaging, video, and photographs that the previous model handled almost identically. The hardware is equal. The additional value is not. This changes the calculation. Maya should not ask whether the phone earns back the entire estimated $847 annual outflow, because she needs some kind of phone either way. The fair comparison is the annual upgrade against the realistic alternative. Our 3-year ownership example costs about $1,262 before repairs or resale, or roughly $421 per year. The annual strategy costs approximately $847. Its true premium is therefore about $426 a year. That premium is the amount the newest model must justify. For Maya, the operating details decide whether it does. Saving 3 hours each month sounds valuable, but saved time produces no revenue while it remains empty space in a calendar. She must answer inquiries faster, schedule another shoot, deliver more work, or reduce paid editing assistance. Productivity becomes economic value only when something useful fills the time released. Suppose she completes one additional $75 project each month. That creates $900 in annual revenue. Subtract the $426 upgrade premium, and the phone appears to improve her position by $474 before income tax and any extra business expenses. If the faster delivery also helps retain one repeat client, the value can continue beyond the first year, not because the phone appreciates, but because the relationship does. That is how the successful version compounds. A reliable tool improves service. Better service can strengthen trust. Trust can create repeat work, referrals, and more predictable cash flow. The device itself continues losing value, yet the system built with it may become more valuable. Now consider a positive reversal. Daniel, another fictional buyer, keeps a flagship phone for 4 years because that sounds automatically economical. During the 3rd year, he replaces the battery, pays for an uncovered repair, and loses a working day while the device is serviced. Maya upgrades annually and never faces that exact interruption. Daniel still probably spends less overall, but the gap is smaller than the purchase dates suggest. The cheaper strategy is not defined by how rarely someone buys. It is defined by total cost and what happens during ownership. The financially strong annual upgrader, therefore, has several connected advantages. Stable income, a useful improvement over the previous model, controlled accessory spending, protection against damage, and a clear exit route after 12 payments. The weak version begins with a monthly payment that looks harmless, then adds premium storage, new accessories, cloud subscriptions, carrier upgrades, and purchases made on interest-bearing debt. One buyer is paying for measurable utility, the other is financing novelty. In an optimistic but credible scenario, Maya keeps a cash reserve, spends the estimated $847, and produces $900 of additional annual revenue. Her upgrade premium is recovered in about 6 months, because the relevant break-even point is $426, not the full cost of a phone she would own anyway. Over 3 years, repeating the same result could create about $1,422 of additional pre-tax value after the upgrade premiums. That outcome depends on the extra projects continuing and the calculations remaining stable. A more ordinary year is less impressive. Perhaps Maya gains only 4 extra $75 projects, producing $300. The upgrade premium then exceeds the measurable revenue by $126. She still receives better battery life, smoother work, and protection from interruption, but the annual upgrade has not paid for itself in cash. It may remain a reasonable lifestyle or business expense. It is simply not a profitable one. The first major mistake is comparing payments instead of alternatives. $57 a month sounds small because it is divided into pieces. But 12 payments, tax, accessories, service fees, and the repeated start of another loan reveal the yearly cost. At the same time, comparing that cost with zero is also misleading. The correct baseline is what the buyer would realistically spend to keep, repair, or replace the existing phone. The second mistake is counting capability as value. A stronger camera does not create income by existing. An hour saved does not become an hour sold automatically. A feature used twice in the first week and forgotten by October cannot justify 12 months of payments. The upgrade works only when its advantages survive contact with the buyer's real behavior. Now apply pressure to Maya's case. One repeat client leaves, demand weakens for 3 months, and the phone suffers damage requiring a service fee. Her payments continue while the additional revenue disappears. If she also used her emergency reserve for the purchase, a manageable tool becomes a cash flow problem. Nothing about the phone changed. The conditions supporting its economics, consistent utilization, failed. This is why buying a new phone every year creates genuine value for a narrow but real group. People who use the improvements heavily can absorb the recurring cost, protect the device, and convert reliability or performance into an outcome they value. It becomes financially weak when the previous phone already performs the same tasks. The upgrade is driven mainly by status, or repeated payments delay stronger goals. Return to that polished box from the beginning. Opening it does not purchase progress. It purchases 12 months in which progress might be created. A yearly upgrade is not expensive because it happens often. It is expensive when nothing important changes after it happens. Would you upgrade after calculating the annual premium rather than the monthly payment? Subscribe to Life Cost Decoder for the hidden economics behind the decisions that shape ordinary adult life.